Hello, all you fine, beautiful people. I'm back here once again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a top 10 AC/DC according to the listeners of Spotify. This is going to be a ranking where I take each song that they've chosen and I'm going to rank it into the order which I'd probably listen to it, starting with number 10 kind of being one that would probably be the least listened to, and then up to number one out of this. One reason I love doing these is because it definitely is something different and it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone where it's like songs you might not choose for a list, you have to kind of rank them. And I've said this in previous videos. I love this because I like seeing how each different generation would rank certain songs or how listened to certain songs would be, and songs you think might be on the list that aren't. Uh, for AC/DC, it's pretty consistent. Like these ones, I would figure would be on the list. And there's at least one where I'm kind of shocked it actually made it. But the more I started thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. But anyway, let's get into this. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, click the little bell down below. It helps out the channel, it helps out with the algorithm, all that jazz. So let's get into this. Number 10 from the album Black Ice, which is probably the newest album on this list, Rock and Roll Train. Uh, like the song, I really dug it. Like I remember listening to Black Ice. I think it's the best song on that album, quite honestly. Running right down the track, it's a runaway train. Just really good. I remember it was like their first one in quite a while, and I remember this song was everywhere. Like it was heavily promoted. I went back and listened to it recently, and one thing I have to say I didn't quite care for. I'm not sure if it's just me, but it feels kind of like the production is little bit like it's very sanitary in a way, and I'm not sure if it's the way it's compressed, but it just kind of feels a little flat. That could just be me. I'm not sure. But I do like the song. And I definitely recommend somebody getting into AC/DC definitely checking out, especially modern AC/DC. I'd say from about Ball Breaker on. I think definitely give it a listen. On to song number 9, which if you would have asked me as a kid, I probably would have ranked this higher. But over the years, I've heard it so much. And there's part of me, I'm not sure if it's just I'm sick of it or what, but from Back in Black, You Shook Me All Night Long. It's a good, I'll say it's a good song. It really is a good song. I think if you're going to throw in like an AC/DC's greatest hits, it would definitely probably be on there. Uh, but like I said, she was a fast machine. She kept the murder clean. Like everyone knows it. Oh man, it's just one of those where I'm like, yeah, you shook me all night long. Very catchy. The chorus, you shook me all night long. It's memorable. Like you remember every part of the song. It's very much like a lot of AC/DC. You end up remembering a lot of it. On to the next song, song number 8, from I believe their debut album, uh, High Voltage. Cause I'm TNT, I'm dynamite. Just killer song, killer riff to start off. But it's one of those things where AC/DC has so many cool riffs, cool. I think one of the things that really made them, at least in my opinion, very popular, and they had a formula where they had like killer riffs to start off, like very much like 3 chord riffs and stuff like that. But they had killer hooks in their songs. Like even stuff like "You Shook Me All Night Long," stuff like that. But then you get "Cause I'm TNT." I just love the way it sounds. But killer track, like Angus and Malcolm, like Malcolm Young. I've grown a huge appreciation for Malcolm Young as a guitar player. Just his riffs. Went back recently, started getting back into learning guitar and learning a ton of AC/DC riffs, but Malcolm's parts, because I always find them very interesting. And Angus Young, hell of a guitar player. I think the one good thing is I think both of them pushed each other to kind of be better, and I think it really helped the band. On to the next one, the first from album repeating, Back in Black, from Back in Black. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, like another one of those songs that I think in recent years have become so overplayed, but I still think it's a killer song. I know like some of these are massively overplayed. I love them, and I still love them. I know there's people out there that hate AC/DC. They're a fun band. They're guilty pleasure for me. I will not. I'll not be guilty of listening to AC/DC. They're phenomenal. And Back in Black is a killer song. Back in Black. Been so long. I'm glad to be back. Introduced Brian Johnson, killer killer vocalist. I think he fit. There's kind of two distinct areas. You have the Bon Scott and you have the Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson, I think, in many regards, might have saved the band and give us some really killer stuff. Next, once again from Back in Black, Shoot to Thrill. Way to kill too many women with too many pills. Yeah. Just killer stuff. I always love listening to this. I love the riffs at the beginning, how each song starts, especially on Back in Black, because it's so different each song. And in my opinion, just killer stuff. Uh, Love the solo in this song, very much like the solo in Back in Black as well. Like Angus, I think at this point was just firing on all cylinders. You also have Malcolm, who was uh, really worked well in this band. Uh, was a fantastic guitar player, and but the other part of it, I think, that also gets really forgot to mention in other songs. Phil Rudd is a hell of a drummer. Like he's a killer drummer and just could always really I think he fit this band, and I think once they got Cliff Williams, I believe it is, in this band, I think it set them up and they were pretty much consistent. Other than in the 80s, kind of having the revolving door of drummers, whether it be Chris Slade, Simon Wright, I believe is the other one, maybe what other kind of just felt like it felt once Phil Rudd came back, it really solidified the band. Hell of a drummer. Number 5, I believe it's actually the first one put on like a proper release. Like I know they had a couple Aussie albums, but for Europe and North America, it's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, Bon Scott and the bagpipes, man. It's something I'm kind of shocked AC/DC never did afterwards, ever utilized it again. It's kind of weird that they never did. Just for one song, it kind of felt like a novelty. Maybe that's what makes it special. Love it. That opening riff of Angus Malcolm, just dang, 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 dang. And I love the way it is. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. I love also another thing I think AC/DC doesn't get enough credit for is also the background singing on a lot of, like you'd have Bon, but then you might also have other band members. Uh, killer track. Would definitely heavily recommend it. This is one of those just fun early AC/DC songs, and I think that's one thing a lot of people would probably say really draws them to AC/DC is it looks like they're having fun and that can cover up a lot. But anyway, on to the next song from the Razor's Edge. I'm sure everyone has heard it. Thunderstruck. Just a great. I love the kind of. I believe it's called legato, where he's like hammer on pull off, but he's not picking type thing he's kind of doing through there because it's a cool effect. Like I've done it on guitar where you can get it where you can like the hammer on pull offs, they make noise. I love seeing like him do it and then all of us have his hand up in the air and you can tell that's exactly what he's doing. Like guitar players know that trick. It's kind of one of those like showboatman tricks. And I also think Chris Slade's powerful drumming on this track I really enjoy. Brian Johnson is phenomenal. Just an absolutely phenomenal singer. I think he fits this band really well. It's actually really interesting going back to this, like already. Rock Roll Chains, Brian Johnson, 2, 3, 4, right? Five out of like the 7 I've listed so far, all Brian Johnson. It's interesting how much Little Bon Scott is in here. I wonder going forward if that's going to continue. But anyway, on to, like I said, great song, killer solo to this. I really enjoy it. Song number 3, going back to the Bon Scott era, from the album of the same name, didn't get a North American release until 1980, 81, I believe. Dirty Deeds. Love this song. Dan, 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 dan. Just, I love it. I have to say, like, listening to AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap has always been one of my favorite songs. I remember, I think my dad got the cassette of this, and I remember driving down in a 68 Mustang and listening to this song, and just there's just something so badass about it, and I absolutely love it. Had 2 cassettes. One was a Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, the other was Who Made Who, and just absolutely blew my mind. Love listening to AC/DC, uh, especially in the car. Like it's great driving music. Yeah, and I love the way like it like lyrically. Got trouble if you laugh for love, you got a broken heart. But then going into like Concrete Shoes, Cyanide, TMT, call back to the first album, Done Dirt Cheap. It's just amazing. And it's just a fun song. Song number 2, I'd have ranked here part 2 to the part 1, but the first song of Brian Johnson, uh, the tribute to Bon Scott, Hell's Bells. Love this song. Like I love the way it comes and you get Angus with a just that opening line and just how somber it feels. It builds, it builds, it builds. And I love each time. Dan, 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 na, 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 dan, dan, dan. And then you get Brian Johnson coming in with Rolling Thunder, Pouring Rain. I'm coming on like a hurricane. And then it goes through the verse a little bit, and you get, they got me ringing hell's bell. And I like how the whole band kind of comes in and sings Hell's Bells. I think Mutt Lange's production on this is absolutely phenomenal. I think he hit the tone, he hit the songs. Always loved this song ever since the first time I heard it. I think the first time I heard it was on the Who Made Who soundtrack for the movie and blew me away. I was listening to this and I'm like, this is really good. Like it's one of those that's always stuck with me. But the number 1 AC/DC song for me, I'm going down all the way on the highway to hell. Love this song. Iconic riff of da-na-na, 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 na-na-na, na-na-na. Just, I love it. Bon Scott's way of singing it. Once again, I believe this was on that Who Made Who soundtrack, and another song. Always love listening to Highway to Hell. I'm on the highway to hell. Actually, correction. I I actually will say I think this might be one time I correct on this. Actually, no. I think the first time I heard this was on to those who are old enough to remember SummerSlam 1998. Austin and Undertaker on the highway to hell. That's it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't really know the name of the band or anything, but then hearing the soundtrack and you hear it a lot more. Uh, fantastic, fantastic song. Uh, always loved it. And I love the way how it ends. We're like, I said, I'm going down all the way on the highway to hell. And then bam. But Cliff Williams on this Phil Rudd. The whole band is firing all cylinders. AC/DC on this album. This is a glorified Highway to Hell is a glorified hit machine. Like probably the best of the Bon Scott era. They carried it over to Brian Johnson with Back in Black. Like those two albums. How many bands would kill to have like those two albums? But anyway, let's get into the second part of this. Songs that are left off here that I'm kind of shocked, or I might have added on here. Let's start off with High Voltage. Is there anything really off of there I would do? TNT, just kind of going looking through this. Probably High Voltage, Rock and Roll, the title track might be one. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Kind of shocked in a way Ride On isn't on here due to how much it's played and stuff. Trying to think what's on there. Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire would be another song from that album. Definitely check out. I'm shocked Let There Be Rock is not on here. Another song from that album, Whole Lot of Rosie would be another one. My personal favorite from that album, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. Shocked that's not on there. Power Age, Sin City, Riff Raff, Down Payment Blues, which is probably my personal favorite from the album. Up to My Neck and You. There's so many that you could choose from that album. Highway to Hell, Girls Got Rhythm. Like that song has been played to death on classic rock radio. Girls got a rhythm. Girls got a rhythm. She got a backseat rhythm. Or if you want blood, you got it. Walk All Over You, Night Prowler. Oh man, so many killer tracks. Shot Down in Flames is another one from Back in Black. Probably one of my personal favorites. Let Me Put My Love Into You would be one. Kind of shocked for those about to rock. We Salute You isn't on here. I always like that song. COD, Call the Devil, Inject the Venoms from their Snowblind or Night of the Long Knives is on that album. I'm trying to think of what else. Inject the Venom. Yeah. And then after that, it's kind of sparse. Money Talks would be one from Razor's Edge I'd definitely put in here. Trying to think of any. And after that, it really not too much that I can really think of off the top of my head. Like I said, I think the best song off of Black Ice was Rock and Roll Train. That might be an album I actually go back and listen to and see, does that album hold up? Because I remember at the time, like, it was really hard for me to get into that album. Now, I don't know if it was production-wise or what it was, but really hard to get in that album. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know down below which song, how wrong I am. I know my buddy Scott will definitely tell me how wrong I am. And also, give me your list. Like, how would you have ranked these or any other songs I might have mentioned to throw in for AC/DC that you think belong in this list? But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. Once again, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching. Really does mean a lot. This is Amir signing out. Yes.